Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Dragoon X Omega 2. Last episode we stopped right outside Lord Higa's castle, and we're going to try to talk to him to get the Air Key, the final key needed to cross the Great Divide. It's basically like the Great Wall of China. It was a structure that the people here built to keep the enemies from the Ark from crossing down into this section of the land. So we have to, like I said, explore the reason for this madness in the Shogunates, and then why the monsters are crossing the Great Divide. So we're going to need the two keys. We already got the Sun Key from Princess Kai. Now we just got to talk with Lord Higa here. Now we were told that Lord Higa, if we let him know what's going on, he should give us the key, but it's going to turn out that, turns out Lord Higa is actually working with Tyrus. So, don't know why. You know, Tyrus was one of the generals of Lord Higa's rival, Lord Higa. So, small little castle here, not much to do here. We're going to have to come back here later to do that side quest. Once we get the lockpicks, we're going to come back here, open that door over there, get the chest, and that'll help us continue on our side quest. But for now, we're just going to fight Lord Higa. And before him, though, he has these 4 bodyguards, which are all the same. So, surprisingly, these bodyguards are weaker than the actual, the enemies, the cyanite enemies that you run into here. So, all 4 of these guys are all the same. They have the same abilities, same hit points, same experience. So, between rounds, if you need to, heal up with your herbs. We're going to save all our magic for when we fight Lord Higa. So we had Hexa there, that's 6. Deca here, which is 10. So these guys are all going to be kind of like multiples of 2. We have Octa next, then for 8, and then Bina for 2. And we finally take on Lord Higa, one of the greatest PSI users in history. So that's why it was important that we got to level 11, because that gives us some spell charges in the level 4 PSI that we have, and one of those PSI that we got is called Agnost, and what Agnost does is it reduces the damage that you take from enemy spells by 50%, so it's basically like the shell spell in future Final Fantasies. So we'll definitely increase our survivability against Lord Higa, who, like I said, we were told is a great PSI user. So Lord Higa, even though he's mainly been touted as a PSI user, he also has a pretty strong physical attack. So we're going to be buffing not only with the Agnost, but also with the Shadow spell. Shadow increases our physical evasion. So Higa has a pretty strong physical attack, so don't underestimate it. If you get to below probably like 100 hit points, you'll probably want to use a pill to basically heal yourself up back to full. Or near full. With a critical hit, Higa can do about 70 to 80 damage, so we're pretty much close to full there. The Air Key shall only be used by Tyrus. You stand in the way of his rebirth, and so I cannot allow you to live. So maybe Higa, you know, being an enemy of Lord Higa and seeing how Tyrus is revolting against Higa, I guess threw his lot in with the traitor Tyrus. So he's not going to listen to reason, and he's going to try to fight us to prevent us from getting that Air Key. So we're forced to take him out here. So once you put Shadow up and Agnost, he's pretty doable. Like I said, heal up with a pill if you get below 100 hit points. But otherwise, he's not too much of a problem. The surprising thing is that the Gene Rot is doing less damage than the Bolt spell does. Maybe because Gene Rot is a multi-targeting spell. It targets all enemies, where the Bolt spell just is a single target. So it might have a higher multiplier, even though it's a lower base spell. But it doesn't matter. Both the Gene Rot and the Bolt spell will do more damage than our physical attack. So we're just just going to rely on that to take Sai out. Get that Air Key. So here we're under 100 hit points, so just to be safe, we'll use our pill. We'll have to be stock up on them when we head back to the Great Divide. There's going to be a lot of new enemies in the Great Divide. We'll go over them when we get there. Quite a bit of backtracking to go to after this. So, just finish him off with the bolt spells. And Lord Sai is finished. And now we get the Air Key, and we are finally able to cross the Great Divide. We got to hopefully find out the reasoning behind this madness that is going on. So let's head on back. We're going to head back to Purgador, get some more pills, heal ourselves up, stay at the inn there, the clinic, and then we'll head to the Great Divide. So, like I said, it's just a matter of backtracking here. We've seen all these enemies. We won't get into any new enemy encounters until we actually get into the Great Divide. So, it's another short dungeon. Most of the dungeons in this game are fairly short, which is kind of nice. So, I guess they didn't want to have super really long dungeons, being that you can only have one party member. So, it's nice of the developers to do that. That doesn't mean that dungeons aren't hard, because things are going to get especially harder once you cross the Great Divide. Enemies are going to be a lot stronger, and there's actually this mini-boss that we can approach that we won't be able to really fight until much later, until almost toward the end of the game. So this monster called Ferris, it looks like a behemoth. And you know, in most Final Fantasy games, behemoths are end-game level enemies. Except in Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, where it was the first enemy you encountered. But it was a tough enemy because it could potentially defeat you if you missed and already had a critical hit. But that game, there really was no penalty for losing a battle. You just got to restart it over again. So, I'm going to buy a few more pills here. We don't want to spend too much money though, because even though we heard that basically past the Great Divide is basically a wasteland where all the strong monsters are, there actually are going to be some towns there. So I'm going to buy some equipment there and spells. So we can get rid of that Lumina, because in the Great Divide we're going to get another accessory that's going to increase our defense. And poison ain't so much of a problem anymore. Mainly that's there to help you through the Valian's lair. There'll be still a few enemies that do poison you, but very rare. So we probably have enough antis to last the rest of the game. So we're just going to make room for our next piece of armor, our next accessory that we find actually in the Great Divide. So let's head on in here. We'll open this first key lock with the Air Key. Just stand next to it and go to your item menu, select the Air Key, and then the seal will crumble. That looks like a door there. That's actually nothing. Once again, another confusing thing about the tile set. Some things look like doors, but they're not really doors. So just ignore it. Don't ignore that money, and especially don't ignore this chest right here, because it gives us our new weapon upgrade, the laser gun. Gives us +5 to our attack, so it's a good upgrade. And we're going to head down, just ignore this first entrance here, because we're going to go grab this pill, and then head south to grab the Globus accessory. It doesn't have any special properties, but it does give 7 defense. All the other accessories only give 1 defense, so this one's a kind of special accessory because it just focuses, like I said, purely on defense. Which is good because, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, there's going to be some really tough enemies that we're going to encounter on the other side of the Great Divide. So we're happy for that extra defensive points. So we got up here, and we got another mini bot. We should recognize them from Dragoon X Omega 1. They were the magician enemies. We also run into the abortion enemies, which were the scorpion enemies from Dragoon X Omega 1 soon here. So yeah, we got another throwback to the first game. Some of the bestiaries enemies. And on down here, open the second seal here with the sun key. Great Divide is now open. We'll be crossing back and forth through there. So, but a majority of the rest of the game is going to take place in this section here. So we're going to head basically to the left here. I'm going to show off this whole little section here. But the only place that we can technically go is there's a mine to the northwest I'm going to head to. And like so you can find that easily by just hugging the walls to the left, and as you head to the left and north. Here's the abortion scorpion enemies. Like I said, I'm going to explore the rest of this area here. It's a small little area. Going through the mine will open up into a larger portion of the overworld. But we're going to see these rails on the eastern side of this little section. And they will open up much more of the world. We'll learn what those are later on in the mine. What they're for, but you can't use them until much later in the game. So, boop. Head on up. There's the mine. We're going to head in there a little later. Like I said, it's the only place we can go though. Although later on in the game, we'll be able to use those rails there. And so, we will definitely be coming back this way, doing a lot of backtracking. We got some bandits. They're humanoid enemies, so we can use the gene rod on them. Yeah, just for the most part, like if the human type enemy, gene rod is good on it. If it's a mechanical type enemy, then bolt tends to be better on it. Just like in future Final Fantasies, machines tend to be weak against lightning, so we'll eventually get a gun that's really good. It does extra damage to machine enemies. So like I said, we have plenty of herbs, so whenever we need to heal between towns, use your herbs. Cheap healing. There's more rails over there. Those rails they're almost like the airship of the game. They transfer you to different sections of the game, but you don't have to encounter enemies on them, so. Oh, some more scorpions. Over there to the right, I cut out a few battles. Surprisingly, when you go far east there, the enemies get actually a little bit weaker. They go back to the mound type enemies, the Warzak enemies that were around Edengard. So I guess with the enemy layers, that one extends up into this section here. So if you want to do a little bit of level grinding, you'd probably want to stick around here close to the mine. Although you don't really need to do any level grinding right now. There will be a better place to do level grinding later on. We're going to find a town beyond the mine, so it's much better to grind around the town because then you can heal between adventures and grinding sessions. So we'll just heal ourselves up because like I said, there's a town coming up beyond this mine. So we just use some of our PSI, save on our herbs, and we'll save our game here, and we'll start back here on our next episode. Take care, have a good one, thanks for following along. Bye!